Hello beautiful readers, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. My booktube channel, my third video. We're really out here doing the thing. Hi, editing Kristen here. I have a couple things to mention before I let you watch this video. Number one, I'm sorry that my hair is sticking up like this. I'm just sorry. The whole video would say annoying me. Second, I am fighting the urge to refilm this because I'm so low on the screen. I was recording with my back camera, so I literally could not see how I looked. I framed it when I first started, like, to get the placement, and it just wasn't it. And I just filmed the whole thing like that. And then it shifts a little bit through, and I'm literally itching, like, should I refilm it? But we're not perfect here. Nobody's perfect. There's another thing. Oh, I'm just gonna break Christmas where the break is. Today's video is gonna be my February wrap up. I read 10.5 books this month, and I'm counting that last book as a half because I did read 60% of it. It just didn't tickle my fancy. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with the DNF actually because I just want to get it out the way. It was The Boyfriend Project by Farah Roshan. I think is how you pronounce her name. It was not like a horrible book. It was just that there's a lot of cliches in it. And so that's just not my jam. I can take like one or two cliches, but when the whole book is a cliche, it's a little hard. So I DNF'd it at around 60%. That's just how it goes sometimes. The first book I read this month was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which is about a woman named Nora who decides she doesn't want to live in this world anymore. But when she decides to take action on that, she gets transported to a library where every book in there is a life she could have lived had she made one different decision. I heard mixed reviews on this, but I love philosophy, or at least the thought of philosophy. Like, I've never taken a philosophy class in my life, but like those quotes that I see every now and then, I'm like, wow, I relate to that hard, or like that made me think hard. So that's why I picked this up, because I love when books make me think about myself. And I was not disappointed. I love the philosophy aspect in this. I love the chance to try a different life. Like, basically she was trying on lives like they were clothes. And I feel like everybody would love to try. Like, if I made this one little different decision, I could have a totally different life. So that was very interesting to read about. The one downside about it was that it is for a big brain, and I do not have that. So sometimes I had to like reread to understand what was going on, but like that wasn't too bad for me. I have been keeping track of the quotes from books that I really enjoy. So I'm gonna, if they're worthwhile, I'm gonna read them to you. And this one I felt like I should read to you. I had a feeling. Okay. There is not life where you can be in a state of sheer happiness forever. And imagining there is just breeds more unhappiness in the life you're in. So I think that's just like the perfect way to sum this book up. And moving on, thanks. Good 4 out of 5 read for me. So in the name of romance, I decided to pick up Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. And let me tell you, I did not know what I was getting myself into when I picked this up. I do not read the synopsis of most books before I read them, and I should have for this one because I was so lost for a minute. But then I figured it out and I was like, what? Anyways, let me tell you, Corrupt is about a girl who is on her own for the first time. Like, she's like from a big family with money on the East Coast, and she wants to move away from that, as rich people do, I guess. No offense if you're rich. I'm not that. So she's trying to move away for the first time and like grow her own independence, which I get. But that is the perfect time for these guys to get revenge on her for something that she did in high school. This book was a roller coaster, to say the least. Especially not knowing what was going on. I was like, I just thought I was picking up a steamy romance. That's what I thought I was doing when I picked this up. Is that and more. So much, like so many layers. I have heard a lot about Penelope Douglas, so I decided to start on one of the ones that people are like, oh my god, this is so good. It is good, but very interesting. I'm like talking in circles because this book is just like, what? I can't believe it's even real. This book was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. At times, I was like, I don't see how this could end well. Like, how is this a happy ending that's gonna be here? But, you know, 4 out of 5 stars. If you're looking for steamy, this definitely is it. Enjoy. My next book is my favorite book of 2021 so far. Do not come at me. If you don't like this book, I will cry. My heart will break a little bit. And on that note, the book that I read was Written in the Stars by Alexandria Belfour. I'm sorry, I don't mean to butcher your name. This is my favorite book of 2021. I talk about this book so much on my Instagram that I think people are probably tired of hearing it, but I'm going to talk about it some more because you haven't heard about it, and this is for you. Written in the Stars is a sapphic romance where there's astrology, astronomy, and emotional baggage, and two main characters who are polar opposites. Oh my god. I love this so much. It was my first sapphic romance, and so now I'm just like, give me all of the sapphic romance because I love Elle and Darcy so much. I loved it so much. And I don't really know what else to say besides it was amazing. And here's a quote from this amazing book to get you to read it. Fun fact. The moon doesn't actually produce any light on its own. It reflects light from the sun, making it appear brighter at night. So if I look like the moon, I guess that means I'm reflecting the light that's around me. So that just gives you a taste of the stars aspect and the love in this book. And it was 5 out of 5 if you couldn't get that from it being my favorite book of 2021 so far. So after that, I decided to pick up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Miss V.E. Schwab. If you haven't heard this book, I don't know what you've been doing because everybody's in love with this book. And so I decided it was finally time to give it a try. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about Adeline LaRue, who prays to the gods to save her from a situation that she doesn't want to be in, and the dark god answers her. And she makes a deal that she can live as long as she wants, but no one will remember her. The first 200 pages of this was very slow, and I only kept reading because I was promised a good book, which I guess it didn't disappoint. It was really thought-provoking. I can see how people relate to this book. Everybody who has that feeling of wanting to leave their mark on the world. I do not have that fear of not being remembered, so I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. But it was 4 out of 5 stars. The writing is beautiful, like nobody can deny that it was not a beautiful book, and it was enjoyable. So the next book that I picked up was Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. I was walking through Walmart, you know, I was going for cat food, minding my business, but you know I had to go through the book aisle and see if there was anything that jumped out at me. And recently I asked Mel from Mel Reads what was her favorite book of 2021 so far, and she said this. I saw this and I thought she meant the graphic novel, but she meant the book. But the graphic novel really grips you, and I cried like 3 times in the span of 30 minutes reading this book. It was phenomenal. I know you're supposed to read about Black joy and just Black people living normal lives, but this also is just like very important to read as well. So I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend the graphic novel because you get, first of all, it's just like beautiful, and then you also get the visual, like wow, the visual gut punch. So this was a 5 out of 5 stars for me, and I think you should pick it up. I think you specifically should pick it up. Thanks. So next up, I wanted another short read, so I picked up Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This has been sitting on my shelf for at least 4 months, and I don't know why it took me so long to pick it up because it was amazing. Clap When You Land is about 2 girls who don't know each other, but when their father dies in a plane crash, they find out that he was living a double life and that he has 2 daughters in 2 different countries who don't know about each other. So it's just a process of them finding out about each other and trying to make it in the world after they don't have a father anymore. They both have very different lives, so it's interesting to follow someone who is well off and not worrying about like their next move versus someone who is impoverished and just looking to find a way to make their life better. It was 5 out of 5 stars. It made me cry, which is a theme for my 5 out of 5 star reads. Most of them have made me cry. The next book that I picked up was The Roommate by Rosie Danan. I also have put off reading this book for a long time. I kept getting it on Libby to like read it and then just like letting it go because I just wasn't in the mood. But I don't know why I didn't think I would like it, because it has forced proximity. It has forced proximity, which I love. So this book is about a girl who moves across the country to basically make this guy fall in love with her, only for him to leave her on the doorstep with a different guy as a roommate. And then things ensue. That I would have been like, wow. And then she was still making excuses for him. I was like, girl, he left you on the curb with some other guy. Forget it. I did mention that it was 4 out of 5 stars, and it was a quick, easy read. Like, I filmed that part. I don't know where it went, but I read it in one day. 4 out of 5 stars. Steamy as hell. You should read it. I recently found out about NetGalley, which is a way that you can get arcs. You can request that you want to read this certain arc, and they'll either approve you or not. And I flew over there because I figured out that Alexandria Bellefleur, who wrote my favorite book of 2021 so far, has another book coming out with one of the main characters in here, her brother. And I loved him in this book, so I needed to read about his love story, of course. His name is Brendan, and he developed a dating app, but he could never find his one true love. He's gone on multiple dates, and nobody just hits it for him until Annie comes in the story. And he's automatically like, this girl is for me. So we just basically read that. And it was just as amazing as Written in the Stars. I literally felt like I was in their friend group. Like, I was laughing out loud and just like felt like I was there. I love that book so much. 5 out of 5 stars. I will be buying a copy when it comes out. 100%. I loved it. Me again. I forgot to mention that this comes out in May. So mark your calendars and buy this book. Court of Silver Flames came out this month. I have a whole spoiler reading vlog on it. You should go check that out because I think I'm pretty funny and I think it was pretty interesting. So yes, I'm not gonna say anything else on it. It was 4 out of 5 star read for me. I still am not in love with Nesta. I don't think I ever will be, but yes. Last but not least, I read this during the readathon. I tried to read Dune, but that just didn't work out for me. So that's gonna be March's book to tackle. So I decided for the readathon that it would be nice to pick up a graphic novel or like a little comic because that would be easy to read in 24 hours. So I headed over to NetGalley and I saw that I had an arc for Sarah and the Royal Stars Volume 2. Now, have I read Volume 1? No. But it was still easy to follow nevertheless, and it was a fun quick read. The art in that, the illustrations were so amazing. I want a copy of it because those colors were so vivid. Sarah and the Royal Stars is about a girl named Sarah who has to save her world from evil royal stars who want to destroy everything, like basically everything. And I don't know how that would help them if everything is destroyed, but they want to do it. And like I said, I haven't read the first volume, so maybe I'm just missing some information. But nevertheless, it was beautiful, and I will probably be picking up the first volume very soon. All I haven't said, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So that's all the books I read in February. I don't know how I read more books in the shortest month than I did in January. I think it's because I was trying to make up for the fact that I didn't read as much in January. But nevertheless, that's what I read. I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a star in the comments to represent my favorite book of 2021 so far. And then do yourself a favor and then go click on the link in the description and buy this book because I will put it there. I will hype this book up until I'm in the ground. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe down below, and leave a comment what your favorite book of 2021 is so far because I would love to know and read it. just like I know you would love to read my favorite book of 2021 so far. Okay, I'm done talking. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. And so that's basically what it is. The first like 200 books, the first 200 chapters, what the